One day, the people in Herculaneum were just going around their own business, discussing Roman politics, and the next, Vesuvius erupted, and everything got buried until it was excavated.
You wanna get away, you better get in line. Won't go another day of wasting any time. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter.
Hi, this is Ken and welcome back to my channel, Ken Travels 360. Previously on Andiamo in Campania, we spent the last day on Ischia at Sant'Angelo before catching the ferry back to Naples, where we enjoy a great sunset at Castel del Lovo. The next day, we walk around Naples' historic centers, visiting the Duomo and Dali's Spellbound exhibition. After the exhibition, it was time to have my favorite Italian food, gelato.
So here, this rather unassuming gelato shop is actually the best gelateria in Naples. I don't think I've ever had gelato that is so creamy and smooth. The best flavor is the pistachio as well as the creme al sale.
After lunch, we went to a different area in Naples, where we saw the famous Galleria Umberto Primo.
It's very familiar. There is a similar one in Milan. So the interior of Galleria Umberto is quite impressive. There are beautiful murals on the floor as well. So at the end of the Galleries Umberto Primero, there's this La Sfogliatella Mary, where they have the famous sfogliatella.
While it was really tempting to get some, we just had gelato, so we decided to pass this time.
There is a big crowd waiting for some food. It seems to be a fried pizza. There's a really long queue for it. Here's another shop that sells fried pizza, and again there are loads of people waiting for it. So just a stone throw from the Galleria Umberto, this is the Piazza del Plebiscito, People's Square, I think. And here we find two amazing buildings. This is the Royal Palace of Napoli, Palazzo Reale in Napoli. And let's scan across. On this side is an amazing building. It's called Basilica Real Pontificia San Francesco da Paola. It's an art-rich circular neoclassical church. Just inside the Palazzo Real di Napoli. It's really beautiful.
Right, it's time to go pick up our rental car. And as soon as we have picked up the rental car, we drove straight to the first attraction, Herculaneum.
So just arrived at Herculaneum, or Ercolano in Italian, and the first impression is I'm stunned. This fishing town, was first destroyed by earthquake in AD 62, followed by the Vesuvius eruption at AD 79 that basically fossilized everything immediately. As you can see, the town is really well preserved. This is the entrance.
After descending the stairs, we saw the first area, the Fornici. They were the port warehouses located along the beach. So in Roman times, this was the shoreline. From here, we got up one level to Terrazza di Marco Nonio Balbo. To have such a large terrace like this, he must have been very rich or important, or maybe both. On the other side, we have the ruins of Saccello di Venere Temple. There are carvings of Venus and other gods here. Next up, we have the Casa del Rilievo del Telefo, or the House of the Telephus Relief. It is named like that because of a high relief depicting the myth found inside by Telephus, who was considered in Greek mythology to be the founder of Pergamon. The house probably belonged to Marco Nonion Babbo. Turned out that he's a Roman politician, knight and proconsul, so he was important after all. On the opposite side, we have another house, Casa dei Cervi, which means House of the Deer. It's an imposing example of a Roman noble's family's house that before the volcanic mudslide boasted a seafront address.
The mosaic floors are still really well preserved.
The two-story villa contains mural and some beautiful still life paintings. If you have been enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to continue to follow this series, please subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell icon. In the courtyard, there are some really interesting sculptures. A diminutive pair of marble deers assailed by dogs, and an engaging statue of a drunken peeing Hercules. In case you're wondering why we were visiting Herculaneum instead of Pompeii, that's because we already visited Pompeii before. Compared to Herculaneum, Pompeii is significantly bigger, and you will have taken a full day to visit. Also, Herculaneum was buried deeper than Pompeii, so it has houses that are completely preserved up to their rooftops. Next, we were attracted by these beautiful colonnades, and we find ourselves at the Gymnasium. After the Pompeii earthquake of AD 62, they restored the Gymnasium, only for it to be buried under a blanket of mud during the eruption of Vesuvius in AD 79.
So here is the ancient Roman toilet.
This road is Decumanus Maximus. In Roman city planning, a Decumanus was an east-west oriented road, and the main Decumanus was called Decumanus Maximus. Next, we enter Casa del Bicentenario. The Bicentennial House was found in 1938 and 200 years after the start of the excavation of Herculaneum, hence the name of the structure. This house is interesting because it is probably the world's first Christian prayer house.
Behind these beautiful columns is another casa. This one is Casa del Bel Cortile,
which means House of the Beautiful Courtyard.
very well preserved mosaics inside. Seems to be a two-story house.
Next, we have Casa di Nettuno e Amphitrite, House of Neptune mosaic. This house belonged to a wine merchant, and the house got its name due to a beautiful mosaic depicting the ancient Roman gods Neptune and Amphitrite in the courtyard. Here at the top, we can see a Nymphia crowned by the head of Silenus, accompanied by two marble theatrical masks. This is Termae Feminili, the women's section of Termae del Foro, the forum baths in English. It has some beautiful floor mosaics, the naked figure of Triton in the changing room. After the ruins, there is still the museum to visit. This museum showcases a lot of more delicate objects found during the excavation of Herculaneum. This well-preserved fishing boat was found in 1984 during the excavation of the beach. It was totally carbonized from the Vesuvius eruption of the AD 79. The boat was buried by flows of lava rocks and volcanic ash and remained sealed in this blanket of volcanic mud, which quickly hardened, guaranteeing the conservation of the wood due to the absence of oxygen.
This has been a superb visit.
After visiting Herculaneum, it was getting late, and we drove almost 2 hours to a hotel in Paestum, breaking in the middle to have dinner at Salerno. We will therefore leave Paestum till next episode. Next time, we'll visit the ruins of Paestum, where it's famous for 3 large excellently preserved Greek temples, and also the hilltop town of Castellabate. See you next time.